As we celebrate Ethiopian New Year 2017 Common Era and 7,517 years of since the world has been created, we realize that there have been a lot of lies, especially due to the isms of Judah. So let's watch.
21:12. Who's going to be in the kingdom of heaven?
Revelation 21 verse 12. And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
So
in other words, the 12 tribes are angels themselves.
The kingdom of heaven, New Jerusalem, is 12 gates. One gate says Judah, the next gate Benjamin, next Levi, next Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, so forth and so on.
Hence, they are supposed to be here during the times of Revelation.
There's no gate that says Pentecostal. There's no gate that says Catholic. There's no gate that says Baptist. You've been lied to, brothers and sisters.
So don't call yourself a Jew unless you're from the tribe of Judah. Because if you're from the tribe of Benjamin, you're a Benjamite. If you're from the tribe of Levi, you're a Levite. And we all know that they're supposed to be here now during the times of Revelation. For we are all children of Israel, regardless what religion you profess to.
You must return to the truth that you are the Israelite, because that's what the kingdom of heaven is for.
And that's one of God's many names, for he goes by the name of Jehovah, Jacob, and Israel. So it is satanic for the audience hall of the Pope in Rome and Vatican is in the shape of the serpent in the inside, and is the shape of a serpent on the outside. So Revelation 12:9, and the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. Revelation 17:11 says the beast 666 is the eighth king and is of the seventh. The beast 666 represents Rome, and its 7 heads represent 7 kings, according to Revelation 7:10. So the Pope Francis is the 8th king of the Vatican country that they started in 1929. Hence, it all happening during Revelation. Let's watch.
Here you will see the headdress. The Pope's headdress is called the Pope's mitre. The word mitre comes from the word, in the Catholic Encyclopedia, the word mitre for the Pope's headdress. Mitre comes from the word Mithra, because Mithra was the god of Rome before the Vatican became the Vatican. Mithraism was the worship that was going on in the Roman Empire.
And they worship it on December 25th. So it started in ancient Egypt, then it went to Greece, then it went to Rome. In other words, they was worshiping the sun, not God himself.
Now, the headdress is called the Pope's mitre. A lot of people do not know where that headdress came from. It actually goes back to the Hebrew, because here's an old wood carving picture of Christ before Caiaphas, the Hebrew judge, and Jesus is being brought before Caiaphas.
And you can't believe everything this guy said, because thanks to social media, we are able to see that he doesn't know everything. So he made up a bunch of stuff. Well, anyway, let's watch what Judah did and the tribes of Judah. The kings of Judah, Hezekiah lay down with his forefathers, and Manasseh his son began to reign in the place. 12 years old was Manasseh when he began to reign, and he proceeded to do what was bad in Jehovah's eyes, according to the detestable things of the nations that Jehovah had driven out before the sons of Israel. So he built again the high places that Hezekiah his father had destroyed, and set up altars to Baal. In other words, he had the children of Israel worshiping the devil, or the serpent. And he made his own sons pass through the fire, and he practiced magic and looked for omens and made spirit mediums and professional foretellers. He did on a large scale what was bad in Jehovah's eyes to offend them. I have commanded them even concerning all the law that my servant Moses commanded them. Therefore this is happening now during Revelation. And they did not listen, but Manasseh kept seducing them to do what was bad. For the reason of Manasseh, the king of Judah, has done these detestable things, he has acted more wickedly than all the Amorites that were prior to him. And he proceeded to make even Judah sin with his dungy idols. That is why This is what Jehovah, the God of Israel, has said. Here I am bringing a calamity upon Jerusalem and Judah. They did what was bad in my eyes and were continually offending me from the day that their fathers came out from Egypt down to this day. In other words, it is happening today. That's why evil is going to fall upon Jerusalem for their lies, especially these lies.
Military monk, who is not allowed to leave the grounds, is charged with guarding the church's holiest relic. It is a job he has devoted his life to, and one he will keep until his death.
You see, they're mixing, Judaism is mixing in the Kebu Nagus, which is Ethiopian folklore. In other words, it's not based on facts. Why? Because Solomon is supposed to be here in the latter days with Sheba, as mentioned in Ezekiel 39 and 38. Sheba is a revelation character. Just like they kept out the fact that it was Solomon who built the ark. Therefore, Solomon goes by the name of Moses, who also goes by the name of Esdras. So as you can clearly see, the ark of the Lord in the house that King Solomon, the son of David, had built. So Solomon is supposed to be here in these times, and his father is the root of David, also known as King of Kings, Haile Selassie.
From St. Mary of Zion, and started talking to the monk who guarded the chapel, and he told me that lying in that chapel was the original Ark of the Covenant.
See,
Now,
that's a
first it
lie,
seemed
because
to
the
me
Ark of the
like-
Covenant has not been built yet. Anyway, they just keep changing stuff. Watch.
Martin Luther didn't like the Catholic Church and founded the Lutheran Church. Calvin didn't like the Lutheran Church and founded the Reformed or Calvinist Church. Henry VIII didn't like being denied Catholic marriage and founded the Anglican Church. John Smith disliked the Anglican Church and founded the Baptist Church. William Miller didn't like the Baptist Church and founded the Adventist. Ellen G. White really liked what William Miller said and founded the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Charles T. Russell didn't like the Adventist Church and founded Jehovah's Witnesses. Joseph Smith disliked the Methodist Church and founded the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. John Wesley disliked the Anglican Church and founded the Methodist Church.
Don't forget, Ethiopia has the oldest churches in the world, oldest Christian churches. Just like they have the oldest, most complete Bible on earth. So if your church is not telling you about that, then you're at the wrong church.
Some pastors didn't like the Methodist Church and founded the Pentecostal Church. Many did not like the Pentecostal Church and founded thousands of churches like Stop Suffering, Assemblies of God, Light of the World, etc. The evangelical movement came from the Baptist Church, while the different born-again movement came from the evangelical churches. The born-again faith emerged in the late 1930s from the U.S., and it gained popularity in the 1970s and 1980s, its golden age.
Hello, they just keep making it up and changing up the story. So let's watch.
We were talking about the New Testament in Koine Greek. Okay? This is the
Remember, Ethiopia has the oldest version of the Bible. So why are you talking about what was written in Greece? You know what I'm saying?
New Testament. John, Matthew, Luke,
And don't forget, the original Ethiopian Bible was not in an older New Testament format. So this guy is way off.
Hebrews, right? The New Testament.
Which you guys didn't believe. You guys believe, right?
Come on, bro. Why are you jumping from
No, I'm
this,
just
right?
saying. I'm just saying that you guys
I explained this to you
I'm
already.
hearing you, but you guys believe in the Injil, correct?
We believe in the
You have
Injil.
to believe in Matthew, Luke.
We do
John.
not. That is not the Injil.
That's not the Injil.
That is not the
That's not the
Injil.
good news.
That is not the good news.
So what's the good news then?
Injil is the gospel of Jesus.
Which is,
The Injil.
if you don't believe in Matthew, Luke.
I do not. Absolutely not.
We don't believe in the Torah.
The Torah that was revealed to Musa alayhi salam, I believe it. The Torah.
Right? Because he follows Rome. So the Torah, if you don't know, the oldest synagogue in the world is in Cairo, Egypt. And Rome is just a continuation of Egypt. And there's 4 countries in the world that do not follow the Roman calendar. And that is Nepal, Ethiopia, Iraq, and one other place. But in reality, most of the Middle East follows the Roman calendar. Why? Because they are a part of ancient Egypt. They follow ancient Egypt.
Torah that you have here in the first 5 books is not that. And let me explain it to you. I don't need to. You don't need to. Of course, I have the Quran. That's the final destination.
The final destination, but you never mentioned Ethiopia as being the first, the one who taught you everything. You guys just made up your own version, just like the Torah, just like the Quran. It's a made-up version hundreds of years after the Ethiopian original tongues. That's why the confusion sets in.
I don't understand baptism. Jesus was baptized by the river, by John the Baptist at the River Jordan. What was the need for baptism? Look at the dictionary. Baptism is done for the remission of sin. Baptism, I repeat, is done purposely for the remission of sin.
Why? Because Jesus is the Son of Man. So no man is perfect, only God himself. So being the Son of Man, he himself has committed sin.
Why did Jesus get baptized? I want to ask the question. Maybe the pastor will explain. Why did Jesus baptize? Is he sinful or sinless?
Remember, he was baptized by John. And who is John? God himself, or Saint John the Divine. And he's supposed to be here when it will be the coming of Christ during Revelation. Therefore, Jesus, being the Son of Christ, is also supposed to be here now during Revelation. So let's watch who's lying.
When we began to pay attention, we didn't like what we saw. You cannot tell me to ever feel comfortable with 18,000 children being ruthlessly murdered. You can't get me to feel comfortable as a Christian with the amount of more explosives dropped, tons of explosives dropped on Gaza than were dropped in Hiroshima. This doesn't make sense to me. Gaza is 30 miles long, 7 miles wide. It's incredibly dense population. And this is, by the way, according to Haaretz, that 40,000 Palestinians have been murdered. I believe they're getting those numbers from the Gaza Health Ministry. And here's what I would like to say to you, Rabbi, since you're quoting scripture, okay? The one that's relevant to me is, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness. And if you'd like to dive into a little more scripture, I think what's relevant is Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley. The fact that you would try to say I am.
You know what I'm saying? Time is ticking. But as we see, this is what we see, lies.
Picture from the moon of Earth, not one picture.
You're talking about the first moon landing. They didn't take one picture of the Earth?
I don't think so.
Oh.
They're busy
They
playing.
have never took a picture of the world spinning from an outer space view, even though they claim to have went outer space many times on space shuttle missions.
Golf on the moon, driving dune buggies around.
Wait, that does look kind of bogus.
How the hell did they get the picture to put it in the newspaper the next day?
Because it was streaming.
Streaming? You couldn't make a call from Texas to New York back then.
And how'd they get that memory card over to Earth, huh? Is there any artifacts from the moon? Did they bring anything back to
Moon rocks.
Just a bucket of lies.
Oh, like moons?
Lies on top of lies. Follow Jah, not man. Wake up, people.
I can't force somebody to believe in me. If people don't want to start with the reality and work their way to reach the ideal. Our emotions are letters of urgency. We don't stop, we don't bother to read. Wall Street is the high crime center of the earth, not Southeast Washington, D.C.